Ambassador, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Great to have you here live
you.
in studio. There's lots for us to get to. I actually just wanted to start with something that the new Chancellor, John Healey, was just talking about, fresh comments from him. He was talking about trying to remove the pessimism in the sentiment towards business and the economy in this country. Often we look at the United States as a home of confidence and celebrating success and positivity. Do you agree with that sentiment? Do you think sometimes we're a little bit too pessimistic about the opportunities for business here?
Well, I think that's a fair assessment. I think sometimes people think, well, we just can't really do anything about this or that, and the fact is, you can. And I hope that's what the Chancellor is intending to do, and what the government's intending to do.
In terms of the special relationship, do you think the Trump-Starmer chapter of it needed a bit of a refresh? Was it a bit strained? And are you optimistic about the Trump-Burnham chapter of the special relationship?
Well, first, I don't think Trump-Starmer was strained. We disagreed with some of the decisions, but I wouldn't say that relationship was strained at all. And we're here to work with the government of the United Kingdom, and you are, in fact, our best and longest ally. Well, not quite longest. I guess the French jumped in there at some point. But
it's got off to a bad foot, but it's improved since then.
It has. No, I think it'll even strengthen.
Let's talk about some of the appointments then that Andy Burnham's made, and come back to the top job that he made appointment to, and John Healey, the Chancellor. Are you encouraged by that choice?
I am. I had a few dealings with him when he was at MOD, and liked him and found him to be very thoughtful and reasonable. So yes, I am.
Presumably, we're all guessing at this point, but
Yeah.
we all assume that it will mean, given he's a principled man and he obviously resigned from the previous government over a lack of defence spending, presumably it means there will be a significant boost to defence spending going forward. Is that something you would welcome?
Yeah, for sure we would. And I think we're encouraging all of our allies to increase their defense spending, and really, we haven't seen threats like this in the world. And when I say we, I mean the allies haven't seen threats in the world like this. Probably you have to go back to the Cold War to find anything remotely like it. So. Yeah, increasing defense spending is something we've been encouraging, and the UK is doing, and we hope they'll do more of.
So far, it's been edging up, 2.5%, 2.6%, possibly 2.7%. Where does it need to be? Well,
on hard defense spending, we think it needs to be at least 3.5%, and I think this government, the previous government. Committed to that, and we hope they'll make it sooner. Mm-hmm. But it definitely needs to get to be 3% sooner rather than later.
If John Healey as Chancellor is an appointment you welcome, what about Ed Miliband as Foreign Secretary?
Well, it's no secret Mr. Miliband and I disagree on energy policies, but he's in a new role. And as Foreign Secretary, I'm sure he'll cherish the relationship with the United States, and anything I can do to further that's what I'm going to try to do.
Did you more than disagree on energy policy? Did you clash with him quite aggressively?
No, but we disagree, and that's fine. People do disagree. But I don't see the logic in using oil and gas that's imported versus using your own.
You had a few meetings with him as energy secretary?
Just one.
How did that go?
Well, it was as you would expect. We disagreed.
And do you think you can now work together? You'll have to deal with him a lot.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's my job, is to work with him. So he's the foreign secretary, and I was encouraged to see, I think he and Secretary Rubio met at the ASEAN conference and have agreed to a meeting in Washington soon. So we will work with Mr. Miliband.
Obviously, as you said, you disagreed with him on energy policy. I imagine you disagree with him on his views towards your boss, President Trump. He said, the ideas that we have shared values with a racist, misogynistic, self-confessed groper beggars belief.
Yeah, I've read those. Those were some time ago, I think, and hopefully his views have changed. I think
those were 2016. 2 years later, he said Donald Trump has lowered the bar for idiocy. He said Donald Trump has a peculiar relationship with Russia. Can he really be our top diplomat dealing with America?
Like I said, I think people's view of President Trump in 2016 is probably a lot different than it is in now 2025 and going forward. So, or 26 even. I'm sorry, wrong year. And we're, I would suspect his views have changed on President Trump, but I haven't talked to him about any of that.
But he was wrong then.
He was wrong then, and I think he'd be the. I mean, look, people say things, and I've said things where you come back a little, a few years later and say, "Yeah, why did I say that? I don't think that's really right."
Well, you're being very diplomatic, Ambassador.
Well, good. I'm supposed to.
Yeah, I know. So effective in the role, clearly. Let's just round off on energy policy. Clearly, there's a new occupant of that department, Miata Fambule, who has said similar things in the past, saying we can't have any new oil or gas fields in February 2022. It's irresponsible and short-sighted. Presumably, you think she, in 2022, when she said that, was also wrong.
What I think about energy is the world needs all forms of energy, and we need to use every form of producing energy at our disposal, and that does include wind and solar, but it also includes fossil fuels because we need them, and you just can't run an industrial economy on intermittent power, which is what solar and wind are.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned some of the disagreements at the top that the Trump-Starmer chapter contained. One of them was over Diego Garcia. Clearly there's a deal that's been in the offing that's on the shelf if Andy Burnham wants to take it back off the shelf. Would the US government rather that deal is scrapped entirely and we start afresh, or is it salvageable?
Well, our position, which did change, but it hasn't changed since the last iteration, is right now we're opposed to handing the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, and I'm sure it could change if there's some changes to the agreement itself. But as far as I know, there's been no discussion about that.
Let's talk about the latest in Iran. We mentioned as you sat down on set the overnight action, and I guess we've had 12 nights in a row of US strikes on Iran. Is the expectation that is the new norm, that these strikes will continue for multiple weeks from now, not just a few more days?
From the U.S. point of view, I think that depends on Iran. I think if they're attacking shipping in the Straits of Hormuz, those attacks most likely will continue. And I really give President Trump a great deal of credit for calling for a ceasefire and trying to find a diplomatic solution for as long as he had. I don't think I would have had the patience to do it as long as he has.
There's obviously also been overnight an announcement between the US and Saudi Arabia on nuclear technology for nuclear power. Is that a sign of the improving relations between some countries in the region? And on the flip side, is it a risk of nuclear technology and expertise spreading across the region in the years and decades ahead?
Well, I don't see civil nuclear as a risk. I mean, I think any country can figure that out. So I'll welcome that. I think what the Middle East is seeing is Iran's true colors, because they have launched attacks on so many Arab countries that now I think they've shown their hand, and hopefully that's going to continue to isolate this Iranian regime. And I think it's a good sign. I mean, I think anything we can do to promote civil nuclear, just like the UK and the US are doing, is a good step.
I want to touch on the social media ban for under 16s, which was obviously brought in late in the last government. We've seen France follow up with their own for under 15s, obviously Australia for under 16s. Does the US see those types of moves as anti-American, against American business? Because clearly pretty much all the successful social media companies are American, or is it an understandable thing targeted at protecting children?
I think we're all concerned about what children are seeing, online, and the effects that they have and can have on them. So, the question is, how do you go about doing that? Honestly, I'm not smart enough to figure out the right way to do that. But it does seem like a ban is, from a U.S. point of view, is a little draconian from a freedom of speech kind of point of view. But I certainly understand the motive behind it, and I don't think we see it as an attack on U.S. companies, but the U.S. companies are the ones that are most affected by it. But I think we'll find a way, as best we can, to work with the laws and rules of all the countries.
It's not something that would, for example, elicit a tariff response from the U.S. president?
Well, now, it could.
For children?
Well, I don't necessarily see it for children, but if we go down, further taxation on primarily American companies, that could certainly do it.
To wrap up, Ambassador, kind of where we started, you touched on the special relationship. It's a new chapter, a new Prime Minister. It comes, a few weeks after you celebrated. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much.
250th anniversary.
Thank you.
Reflect for us just on that relationship over the years and the ups and downs it's gone through, and where do you think it'll be in the next 250 years?
Well, I think it'll be stronger in the next 250 years. I think we share things with Britain that we don't share with any other country. And I'm going to paraphrase President Trump when he said it was the greatest inheritance one country has ever given another, is what Britain gave to us. I mean, basically, our Constitution is your common law written down. A few tweaks here or there, but I think it'll flourish, and I think it'll be even stronger. I didn't know how strong it was until I got in this seat and could see the work that goes on daily between our defense departments, our intelligence communities, and really at every level of government. And it doesn't really matter who the president or who the prime minister is. That work goes on.